So it's Swaroop again, presenting OWASP iGoat. So a quick introduction of me. I work as a senior security engineer. I am OWASP iGoat project lead. I have spoken at many conferences, including HitCon, Bugcrowd Level Up, Ground Zero, and I'm also top bug bounty hunter working with Cobalt and Synac. I keep doing bug bounties and got acknowledged by many companies like Microsoft, Amazon, and many more. You can catch me at Swaroop Yermalkar. And I'm also author of this book. And I'll be asking few questions during the session. And if you can answer, then this book is all yours. I have few copies right with me. So be prepared. So today's agenda is like this. We will start with why to care about iOS security, what is OWASP iGoat, how it helps to secure your iOS application and also helps to, red team or pen testers to perform the attacks, and the one city of challenge on that and the conclusion. Okay, so before starting the sessions, how many of you are related with mobile app security? Like how many of you work with that? Only few? Okay, yeah. So why to the first thing is why to care about mobile security or the iOS application security. So if you see the evaluation of the applications, now most of the traffic is based on the mobile applications rather than the web applications. The all the top social networking sites and Netflix and all, they have the more traffic, more than 60-70% traffic is on mobile applications rather than the web. So mobile has become a very important part. And nowadays your smartphone is everything. It has the financial applications which stores your, which handles your credit card informations. You have the healthcare applications by which you book the doctor's appointment, where you have the allergies, you chat with the doctors. You have the social networking applications, you chat, Tinders, and all these things you have, and gaming apps. Again, the second important thing is if you see the smart devices, the Internet of Things, for all the devices, the mobile application is the entry point. If you want to start your uh, car home monitor or any like fridge or washing machine or any smart device, the mobile app is the entry point. So it could be your light, your even toilet, the TV, smart TV, your smart log and fridge and washing machine as well, yeah. But if you see the current scenario in enterprises, the most focus is toward as the back end. They simply say we are not looking into the mobile applications part. The mostly their focus is in the back end APIs. Because even the applications 60-70% is backend and 30% is actually your native language code. And security focus is more concerned for the backend. And if you see for the backend, the APIs, there are several free and commercial tools are available. So it makes easy to perform the regular assessments on the backend part. And mobile part is one of the neglected, you can say neglected part. So there was a vulnerability reported by the Andreas, and it was in the WhatsApp when it was initially released. So when you register in the WhatsApp, the OTP is sent to your number to confirm that you are the legitimate user for that particular number. So if you see the if you intercept that particular request, the auth parameter, the OTP is also being sent from your phone to the server. So anyone can just enter any random mobile number, can have this authentication, and once you have the, let's say this is not my number, I'm just entering that, and still I will get this authentication parameter which I can enter, and then I can access to anyone's WhatsApp account. So this was vulnerability because the client side part was not handled properly. There are so many problems. I do conduct trainings in iOS security and pen testing, and I speak with lots of developers. And the problems are in both sides, for the pen testing and for the defense side. So if you see the lack of resources for the iOS, unlike Android, we have very less resources. iOS keeps changing. We have the, even for iOS pen testing, we cannot have just a simulator which will work on Windows and all. So you must have the hardware or at least a MacBook in order to perform the assessments. The same thing is for the developers. The fixing vulnerability is a big issue. How to fix them because they have to go through different blocks, Stack Overflows to fix any particular vulnerability. And if you see, the focus is more on the enhancement and the release dates, and there's lots of pressure on the implementing new features other than the pointing the security holes. And again, the keeping track of latest vulnerability is very hectic for developers. So that's why we are introducing the OWASP iGoat project. So what is OWASP iGoat? Uh, it's a tool for iOS developers and the mobile app pen testers, and it was inspired by the WebGoat and has a similar conceptual flow. So it's basically have the four things: brief introduction to the problem statement, verify the problem by exploiting it, and the remediation of that particular problem. So it's a free and open source project. You can bookmark this GitHub link where all the code is available. And it's basically currently have 25 plus, or I would say 30 plus vulnerabilities. And it has a local server, and one server is hosted on the cloud. So currently we have these many vulnerabilities: cloud misconfiguration, broken crypto, and importantly key management thing. When you're handling the mobile app, the key management is very important concern, like where to store the encryption key, and like that we have the multiple scenarios covering which developers face in day-to-day development cycle. So iGoat approach is very straightforward: understanding the concept, identifying the vulnerability, exploiting, and the most important, it will teach you how to defend the particular vulnerability. So I will show you a quick video how it works. So this is iGoat running on the iOS simulator. Let's take any challenge, keychain storage, and it's insecure data storage. So first it will teach you how to perform the assessments. Like there is a hints, a description of vulnerability. So attacker will simply first exploit that. So I'm just logging into, I'm just checking out the local data storage to check out the credentials. So if you see, the credentials are stored in the plain text, donkey and hottie. Now if you go back to the Xcode, in the code itself, we have given the, okay, let me go back. So if you see, this is secure code snippet and the way how to defend against the vulnerability. By default, this code is commented, and all you have to do is uncomment the secure methods and read out this defense, and you have to rebuild the code. That's it. And you will learn how to defend against that particular vulnerability. So I'm just rebuilding this project. And if you open the same challenge and same thing, it says data is stored securely. So it's kind of a secure SDLC in iOS development. So now it's saying data stored in keychain. We have also implemented iGoat keychain analyzer. Most of the data iOS stores, the sensitive information is getting stored in the keychain. And if developer wants to look at what's stored in the keychain for a particular app, we have also have the keychain analyzer for implemented in the iGoat itself. So the best thing about iGoat is it runs on all the iDevices, including your iPhone, iPad, and the iOS simulator, and all the iDevices. So this is a kind of scenario. This is the vulnerability, the description. What is this vulnerability about? The exploitation of this particular vulnerability, then the hints, and then at the end there is a solution. And for developers, we have the secure code snippet for each of these challenges. So iGoat architecture, we have one server which will run locally on the systems, is written in Ruby, and we have another server hosted on the cloud. So its vulnerabilities are very structured format. If you are a newbie or if you are a developer and if you want to add vulnerabilities in that, it's very straightforward and anyone can easily fork and add the vulnerabilities in this project. So we'll have a couple of demos, like how we are working on the key management and other things. So the key management is one of the very important thing in mobile app security. Like you encrypt the data, but where to store the encryption key? So there could be multiple ways. The one could be like hard-coded key, like most of the application in bug bounties or in day-to-day life. I saw many applications which has the your encryption key as hard-coded. So it could be easily if I get your key, I can decrypt anyone's data using that particular key, because the key is same for all the users. So we have the very cool challenge. The challenge says, why did goat cross the road? And the solution for this challenge is actually hard coded in the code. And the challenge is you have to uh, reverse engineer code or dump the hard coded strings in the iOS binary. So I'll be using Hopper disassembler for this particular challenge. So it's similar like IDA Pro, and here you can disassemble the iOS binary. And if you open this part will have all the hard-coded strings, and this started disassembling the code, iOS code. And if you can simply look for some keywords in the strings, we can get the answer. Okay, so this is the string section, and if you search for any keywords like keys or riddle, you will get the answer. So this is the secret, and the answer is this one: to prove it wasn't chicken. So you can enter the same answer here, and the challenge is solved. Again, we have the another challenge, like where key is stored at the server side. So every time uh, when you want to decrypt the data, the application fetches the key from the server, and it decrypts the data. So for the challenge, as soon as you start the challenge, you will see that there is some encrypted string in that. And so this is a burp suite proxy I'm running to intercept the traffic of the application. So if you see, the application is requesting for the key, and in response, server will respond with the encryption key. So, and this is the key which is responded by the server, which you have to enter here, and then you can solve the challenge. Okay. The third and important thing is random key generation. So in this case, the keys are different for each of the users. So the challenge is like username, password, and here's the encryption key. But for this challenge, we are using the UDID class, like we are using the hardware IDs for each of the uh, as an encryption key. So for each user, the encryption key will be different. So if I'm able to get your key, I won't be able to crack some other users. I won't be able to decrypt some other users' data. So this is the code for random key generation. So for this is the one of the you can say important solution in case of handling your encryption keys, where your encryption key is unique for each of the user. Okay, success. Similarly, we have the runtime analysis challenge. This is like one of the major aspect in for the runtime analysis of the iOS applications, where you change the application's behavior at the runtime. So I will show you one quick demo where you have the challenge like a 4-digit PIN. The application has a 4-digit password, and at the runtime you will crack that password. So it says the enter 4-digit PIN, and I will hook with the cycrypt, and then we'll try to brute force that particular PIN, and then I can enter into that. So these are the steps. So the first, it's very straightforward. First, you will dump all the running processes. You will get that iGoat is running on particular process ID, and then you will hook the debugger to that particular process ID, and then you can start doing different functionalities like dumping the class methods, dumping the variables, and you can do so many things. Cycrypt is one of the very powerful utility. Yeah, so if I run this, at the end I will get that the PIN is 1381, which I can enter into the application, and this will be solved. So similarly, we have the URL scheme attack where there is no validation on sensitive actions. So let's say applications, many of the applications has, okay. So nowadays many of the applications has the facility to call from the application or message to someone, and the same thing they don't implement any validation. So in iOS application, one application communicate with other application using URL scheme. The URL schemes are unique. For this challenge, you can, so there is a two fields, one is contact number and one is message, and if you directly hit the URL in the browser, and that particular message or call will be happen. So I can just email you the link, you will click on that, and if there is no validation, the attack will happen. The next is very important, it's a cloud misconfiguration. And so if I open this challenge, it asks me to enter the card number and CVV, and there is one catty face. Can someone tell what should be the approach for this? Let's say the title is cloud misconfiguration. So what could be the first test to first thing to do if you're doing a pen testing? Yeah, anyone? Yeah, traffic, right? Intercepting traffic. Yeah, cool. So the first thing is intercepting traffic and finding what is the backend. So this is actually S3 misconfiguration, S3 bucket misconfiguration challenge. So I will show you a quick demo of this, and you will get the book. So this is a challenge. If you see, if I intercept the request, there is a traffic goes to the S3 bucket, and where this catty image comes. And if you open that URL, you will see that the S3 bucket is not, it has a public access. So anyone can read the files into from that bucket. So I'm just removing the proxy. So if you open this URL in the browser, it will show that it will show all the files inside that, because this particular S3 bucket has a public access. The vulnerability is because of misconfiguration of the cloud backend cloud. And you can see that this is the catty image which was showing on the application, and you can also see there's a one more image named credit card .gf. And if you open that particular image, boom, so you can see the credit card data. So this is just to make the interest, improve the interest of developers. But in real life, you have seen that the user's personal data is misconfigured, like cloud is misconfigured, and any attacker can access that particular data. So similarly, we have the injection attacks like SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and so this is the last demo I'll be showing. So if you start the challenge, it has like it's a simple search box where you can search for the articles and all that. And if you just inject the payload, like SQL injection payload, and the attack will happen. You can just have the simple SQL injection payload, and the attack will happen. Okay. Okay. So it's so many, it's more than 30 vulnerabilities. There are many crypto challenges and all that. It's not possible to show all this. It was just overview of the how we are working on this school project, and we are also definitely looking for the volunteers for this project. We also have the CTF challenge if you are interested. It's not particularly with the iOS application. If you have the crypto knowledge or even web knowledge, you can solve this challenge, and we have goodies for you. So it's simple. If you start the challenge, you can download the code from the GitHub link, and you can play this challenge on any iPhone, jailbroken, non-jailbroken iPhone, or OS X simulator, Xcode simulator. So if you open the challenge, broken crypto, there is a crypto challenge, and if you start that, there is a challenge to purchase the iPhone. The default price is 1000 USD dollars, and your task is to purchase this on for the $0. If you do that, you will get the flag and you can inform us. Yeah. So you can also contribute to the iGoat. It's a open source project. You can add new vulnerabilities. If you are working on some cool if you find any cool vulnerability, you can let us know. And um, yeah, so these are the references, and we have the contributors from all over the world. I'm just the front face for this project, but there are multiple people working on this project and continuously contributing for this. So these are the credits, and yeah, any questions? No questions? I hope you got the talk. Yeah, thank you.